Let's see. What do we need to do to get this rolling? All right. Welcome. I was not planning on streaming it all tonight, but I changed my mind. I decided, why not? I want to play some more basketball. So we are going to play, we're going to take a look at Highlight Maker Hoops. I'm just going to make sure that I post this. So if anybody wants to join, they can absolutely do so. All right. And my title is all jacked up. Can I fix that? Because I can't spell. Because I can't spell. Can I... Settings? Stream? Nope. Tools? Let's see. Is there a way? I'm sure there is. What if I click that? Nope. It sounds great. We're going to stick with what we got, even though I can't spell. Highlight Maker Hoops is what we're playing. Man, the fact I can't spell to save my life. What is up with that? Can't type, I should say. Manage videos? Nope. You know what? It's fine. We're going to just stay there. All right. So, like I said, we're going to play some Highlight Maker Hoops. I asked a friend of mine to pick. We're going to be using the 2007-2008 set. Just playing some random games. I asked him to give me 4 random teams, and that's who our teams are going to be. So he gave me the Raptors, the Timberwolves, the Knicks, and the Pelicans. But I don't believe the Pelicans were in the NBA in 2007-2008. So we may need a substitute. That's okay. We got the New York Knicks, the Timberwolves, and over here we have Toronto Raptors. Of course, the last card that I ended up looking at. We're going to go New Orleans. New Orleans. Maybe they were the Pelicans in 2008. I don't remember. So, if you didn't watch my stream yesterday, which I don't blame you for not watching it, this is my first kind of handful of games with Highlight Maker Hoops. So inevitably I will get something wrong. Feel free to let me know in the chat that I have done so and gotten something wrong. But we should be able to just kind of roll. I think we've got that. So I'm going to quickly shuffle up my FAQ, and then we're going to set up our rosters from our random matchups. Since we are using 2007-2008, we're going to be either using the mid-low or the low scoring chart. So I'm going to be having to take mid-high off of my table here in just a second. That's what we were using last night for the 75 players of all time, the greatest 75 set. I'll do that, and then we're going to turn and do one more shuffle. There we go. Perfect. All right. So for this first game, they're looking for, I have my little 2007, 2008 sheet here, and we're looking for a 51. That is going to be a mid-low chart. So that means we're just flipping this one over. Look at that cool guy on that paper. So according to the paper, 2007, 2008, the average scoring during the season was 99.9 points per team, which is, that's, see, in my mind, that's what the NBA should be. I'm not a huge fan of this 120, 130 points put up a game. I apologize if you can also hear my washing machine, or my dryer, I should say. Here is our first matchup. Our visitor is going to be Sam Mitchell and the Toronto Raptors. At home, our team is the New York Knicks and Isaiah Thomas. So, this is the first time that I'm actually even looking at these team cards. So let's see who we got on these teams. We got Anthony Parker, Jose Calderon, Chris Bosh, Jamario Moon, Carlos Delfino, Andrea Bargnani, Jason Capono, Rasho Nestorovic, TJ Ford, Chris Humphreys, Juan Dixon, and Joey Graham. So the last time, like I said, I ended up using the 75th anniversary set. So this is the first time I'm dealing with quote unquote realistic usage. So we're looking for 5 solid starters, 2 guards, 2 forwards, and a center. In theory, I could start one of these guys that has, you can't see them, they're all the way down here. One of these guys that has the outside circle, or the outline circle. But other than that, the only other rule is that a player with no shapes can't start any higher than 3rd off the bench. So our starting lineup, if these are our solid guys, our starting lineup tonight for the Toronto Blue Jays. See, this is what happens. Haven't played baseball in a while, and now I'm getting things all messed up. These guys are our bench. These guys are going to go bench. We'll get them together in just a minute. Let's get our starting center. We got Chris Bosh as a center. So Chris Bosh apparently is the only center in this set. Nestorovic could start there, but I guess Bosh is our starting center. And then Jamario Moon. Jamario Moon. That's not even a name I recognize. And yet he's got all these skills. Look at all these skills. Look at them all. What is that all about? I also realize I think that I'm passing this video at a very high resolution over to my streaming software. Maybe that's why it crashed last night. So we're going to pull another forward. Our next forward is going to be Bargnani. He's our second forward. So Capono is going to go on the bench. And we're going to run Anthony Parker and Carlos Delfino. Poor Jose Calderon. He's going to the bench as well. Here's our starting visitors. And our bench, let's see. Is this the way we want it to start? We got Bosh. Look at all those stars on Bosh. Yeah, that looks fine. Jose Calderon. Capono. Ford. I think Nestorovic comes in before Ford. Then these guys, maybe. But that is our bench. And head coach of Sam Mitchell. And the starting lineup for the New York Knicks, coached by Isaiah Thomas. We got this is the Knicks, right? Not the Nets. Eddie Curry, Zach Randolph. Nate Robinson, there we go, yeah. Okay. So our starters, we got Jamal Crawford, David Lee, Zach Randolph, Nate Robinson, Quentin Richardson, Fred Jones, Eddie Curry, and benched, or Jared, or not benched, but Jared Jeffries, Ronaldo Balkman, Stephon Marbury. 2007, 2008 was a long time ago. My goodness gracious. Malik Rose, Marty Collins. So none of these guys are coming in off the bench. I think. Sorry, Marbury, you're not coming in. There we go. There's our bench. Oh, we're going to have to get some of these starters in. Let's find our center. And our center starting tonight is going to be Zach Randolph. Sorry, Eddie Curry, you're going to the bench. Our starting guards are going to be Jamal Crawford and Nate Robinson. Fred Jones goes to the bench. Fred Jones is going to be the first guy off the bench. And then our starting forwards are Quentin Richardson and David Lee. So I think like that. There we go. We got our starting lineups for your New York Knicks. And let's get our first 10 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, and we are heading to tip-off. We got our little card coach marker, got our facts, got our dice, and we got to set our timers to 5. And we are on our way. Whoop. Well, bam. Does the visitor player have defensive reach? Yes, that is a blocked shot. Nothing happens, and all of a sudden we are moving. Jamario Moon and Jamal Crawford make their way up. Leap. Who's got leap? What is leap? Leap is a hoop, so we're looking at rebound, I guess. And is that the first one? Let me look at another card here. Yes, it is. So nothing happens. These guys are trading spots again. We are starting slow. All those skills that Jamario Moon has. Come on, focus up. And no leap. I've rotated, right? Look at this! I'm just seeing Hightlight Maker Hoops has prospect and icon statuses. I wonder if that's stuff that doesn't come into play in the Hightlight Maker Hoops and will come out in the full play. Because I've also got the deck of referee cards, and I don't know where to use those either. We'll worry about it later. Coach, we got a timeout. Isaiah Thomas is starting early. Bringing in Mr. Fred Jones. And Fred Jones with his die roll is a 5. Does he have smart? No, sir. And nothing happens. So since we're still in our preliminary learning stages, when on a coach call, if he doesn't score, do both guys rotate? I don't think they do. Bench cam. Oh, hold on. I did the wrong thing. We got a 5. I'm supposed to be looking at the coach. That is a 9. Okay, well, there we go. I caught it. I'm not rolling on his chart because that's for the hand. We're rolling on the coach. And a 9 is an energize, and we got a point. So we're going to confirm that he stays, which I'm pretty sure he does, because he moved down the track. Subbed in player stays. So we go back to Fred Jones. And Bargnani goes away. Good job, Fred Jones. Bump. Ain't nobody got bump. Now we got some bump. Home player with defensive smart. Yes, and underlined in the home team scores. Pardon me. Anthony Parker gives way to Chris Bosh. Grab. Both guys got grab. So we're going to the visitor. Defensive rebound and basket on the transition. Chris Bosh scores. Quentin Richardson rotates out. There goes the washing machine. I have no idea if that's getting picked up by the microphone or not, so I'm going to get up and turn that off. And now we are all better. So we got ourselves another timeout, and Sam Mitchell calls for the timeout and brings in Calderon off the bench. That is an 8. That's a clash. So what happens in clash? I've not actually seen that before. Coach's strategy fails and the other team scores. Move the other team's pawn down one space. Subbed in player rotates. So the home team scores when Calderon comes in off the bench, and it hurts. We got a ref look. To the visitor, Chris Bosh is taking the shots. 2 shots. That's a 5, and Bosh scores 1. 2. That's an 8, and he clanks it. So off of free throws, everybody rotates down. David Lee and Jamario Moon come back up. Hoop cam snag. So we got both guys got snag, and home gets the snag, but we have an opportunity for the block. That's a 5 on Smart. And he's got defensive smart, so nothing happens again. This is a low-scoring affair so far. Just about to finish the first quarter, and we got grab. And Zach Randolph with grab, and he puts it through the hoop, and Bargnani rotates to the bottom of the stack. Here at the end of the first quarter at Madison Square Garden, it is 4-1, but that means it is plus the visitor score 27-16 after one quarter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. These guys are all discarded. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you're just joining me, hello. Welcome to the Sports Simulation Spectator 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm Mike, and I'm playing Hightlight Maker Hoops for only the 3rd time. We are playing with the 2007-2008 NBA set. We got 2 random matchups tonight. This is the Toronto Blue Jays. I did it again. The Toronto Raptors at the New York Knicks. And like I said, right now, the Knicks hold I just had it and I didn't write it down anywhere, a 4-1 lead, which means it is a 4-1 lead, 27-16, including the free throw. Here we go. We got a bump. There was Zach momentum doesn't carry over across quarters, so we're looking at bump on both, and Zach Randolph is our first scorer. I could have rotated those players, but oh wait, we got an opportunity for a defense. Let's do that first. That is a 4. We're looking for reach, and he does not have reach, so Zach Randolph does score that point. And Delfino goes down. Anthony Parker comes up. Ref look. We're checking him. Zach Randolph has the circled star, so he's going to get these 2 shots. That is a 7, and Zach Randolph sinks the first. Give me the die. And that is a 6, and the second one clanks. We are also discarding the next fact, so that's not going to come into play. And both players rotate out. Jose Calderon and Jamal Crawford. Another ref look. We're looking at and 1. And in this case, they both have the clover. So it goes to the home team. Jamal Crawford is going to get this. So that is a score for Crawford. And a 7. And he sinks the extra free throw. In the event that there's an and 1, does Crawford stay because he scored a basket? Let's find out. That was a floor cam. To shoot free throws. And 1. And in 1, move the pawn 1 space. On these facts, there's no movement down the scoring track. Oh, no. Okay, both players rotate out even on and 1s. So Jamal Crawford gives way to Fred Jones, and Chris Bosh comes back up. This score is wild. Home team have defensive power. No. Where's power? No, they do not. And the visitors score. Finally, Chris Bosh puts some points on the board. Push. Chris Bosh has push underlined. That is a score. So on a hoop cam, I apologize that I'm constantly checking these things. I want to make sure I'm getting them right. If the player has it underlined, yeah, it's only a tiebreaker. Got it. So Quentin Richardson gives way. Bosh still scores the point. And Nate Robinson coming on. Coach, timeout. Isaiah Thomas has had enough of this. He does not want to see them make a comeback. And in comes center Eddie Curry. And that is a 9. We're looking at an energize, and that is points for the Knicks. What a good decision by Isaiah Thomas. Ref look. And Eddie Curry's got the star. 2 shots, and we're discarding a fac. Here's shot 1. That's a 5, which is good. Shot 2 is a 10, and that's also good. The Knicks are running away with this game really early. We are on our last fac of the half, and it is a timeout, deliberate play, and discard the next fac. So there's no fac to come out, but we're going to bring in off the bench and see if he can get something right here before the end of the half. That is a 7, which is complacent. Is that treated the same thing as a clash? It is, and the home team puts another one on the board, and the bench replacement backfires again. Thank you for letting me know, Jay Flartner, that my washing machine was not beeping in the background. All right, so we are now looking at 8-3, which puts us at 56-36 plus free throws, 60-37. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. And there is a rule for like minimum scoring that the way that it works is as long as there's not a gap of 7 points or more. Let's see. Minimum scoring. In order to replicate, here's how to track. After the last fact of a quarter is resolved, check the quarter scoring cap and scoring pawn and count the unused spaces. If there are 7 or more open spaces on the scoring track, award a bonus space to both teams. In order to replicate realistic scoring ranges, we're saying that there's a minimum of 4 total spaces. Must be moved in every quarter. Here's how to track. After the last fact of a quarter is resolved, check the quarter scoring cap and scoring point positions and count the unused spaces. Is that unused spaces for all teams? I don't know. If there are 7 more or more open spaces on the scoring track, award a bonus space to both teams. No, I think there was enough scoring happened. So right now, we'll give it a shot for the second half of this game to make sure that I'm getting it right. We right now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we need to see 5 scoring opportunities happen here in this next quarter in order to not give extra points away. If there are 9 or more open spaces, you give 2. Yeah, okay. So I think there was enough scoring that happened there. Most of it happened by the Knicks, but... So since it is the half, we can reset up our lineups here. And I'm thinking... I don't even know what to do with the Knicks. Like, we're going to put Jamal Crawford up at the top. And bring Zach Randolph back forward. And then Quentin Richardson. Otherwise, Fred Jones is going all the way to the back. Yeah, he's going all the way to the back. And for the Raptors, Bosch and Moon. I kind of like the layout the Raptors had, with the exception of Calderon's got to be sitting there way at the back. In fact, we're going to send Nesterovic down there ahead of Calderon. All right. There we go. We are coming out of the second half. We need 10 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. Here we go. The second half. Visitor player with defensive reach. He does have it. Yes, it is blocked and no points are scored. So immediately, Bosch goes away. I'm pretty sure that's what happened in the first quarter. Zach Randolph. Floor cam. Does the visiting player have offensive reach? No. Pushed away. No points are scored. Wow. Neither player has wow. This is the worst game of basketball ever. I will have to go and look to see if the Knicks or Raptors were any good in 2007, 2008. Nobody has scored in this half, so we're both looking for tip. Don't tell me neither guy has tip. Is it just that I can't see it? Yeah, neither has tip. What? We're going to be giving away free points here. All right, we are rotating away our players. Here comes Anthony Parker. And here comes Nate Robinson. I'm going to turn this up just a little bit. And we're going to turn up this. Nope, wrong color. There we go. Very white light. Here we go. Boom. Visitor player have defensive quick. Yes, it's a turnover. Guess what? That means no points are scored. Here comes, we're back in those bench guys. Ref look, 2 shots. The Eddie Curry takes these shots. That is a 7. That's a clank for Eddie Curry. And an 11. That one is good. So we've got 1 measly free throw scored so far here in this third quarter. Literally nobody has moved down the track. Home play have defensive spark. No. Visitors score. There we go. Jose Calderon makes Fred Jones pay. All right, so momentum's over on Toronto's side. Does he have snag? No. So we're going to rotate this over. Boom. And we're looking at ref look which means we compare the two. They're exactly the same, and home gets the advantage. So Jamal Crawford is taking these shots. That is a 5, and that's a clank for Jamal Crawford. Oh, no, I apologize. It is not home. It is they compare and then goes a visitor. It's visitor. It's Calderon taking these shots, and he does not have a 5, so he's good there. Second roll for Calderon is a 9, and he's good again. I am confirming that I am not lying. So we're looking at floor cam, ref, and it's not even a check. It's not even a check. They are to the visitor. That's a piece that I need to make sure that I get right. The check mark means check their skill set. In this case, it just says it's the visitor that gets it. So Calderon scores, puts 2 on the board at the free throw line. And we got another ref look, but this one's a look. And in this case, Chris Bosh has the underlined star. So he gets a point on the scoring track, and he's going to roll for a free throw. It's a 5, and he scores on the and 1. And our final card of the quarter is a snag. Both guys have snag. So we're looking at the home team and the defensive rebound, and that is a point for Quentin Richardson. So at the end of the third quarter, it is 9-5. 9-5. It is 66-50 plus free throws. So we're talking 71-54. 71-54. And we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If I'm counting right, the rulebook said if there are more than 7, we give each team a point on the track. If there's 7 or more, award both teams a point. So all that ends up doing is getting your final scores closer to where they should be, just in case the cards don't play them out. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In this case, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There is still a tiny baby opportunity. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Come on, baby. There we go. 10. There is still an opportunity here for Toronto to go on a crazy run, but I just don't know that it's going to happen. Here we go. Final quarter. We're going to rotate through these guys, get some new blood up here. Here we go. It would kind of be fun to play through this game using as-played lineups. I know not every player is carded, and I know that the game doesn't track stats in the same way that some of the more fleshed out games do, but I think it'd be neat to go through and use as-played lineups to see how they played out. Coach, we got a timeout, and Isaiah Thomas is calling a timeout. Active player must exit the floor, lost for the rest of the half. So Nate Robinson is out, and he's putting 2 subs on top of the stack. We're looking at Ronaldo Balkman and Jared Jeffries. Question is does it make a difference? Boom. That is a 5. That's an energize, and that is points for the home team. It was a good call to bring in Balkman off the bench. Home player have offensive skill. No. Thrown away. Thrown away. No points scored. Ref look. 2 shots, and we're comparing them. The Anthony Parker's got the clover, so he's going to take the shot. That is an 8, and that's good for Anthony Parker. And that's a 7. Also good for Parker. So that's 2 points on the free throw track. We got... I realized just now it's off the last card. So does momentum... See, these are the questions that all Play gamers ask as they're learning these things. Free throws don't activate lightning. So nobody's got advantage right now. So we're just looking at net. Both players have net, and it's the trailing team that gets it. Rasho Nestorovic scores the point. It says on the card, nothing but net. I don't know that he's taking any jumpers, but there we go. Here's Nestorovic. Can I get it to... There we go. Rasho Nestorovic. Look at that guy. Beats David Lee. And Eddie Curry's coming on the board. Tip. So we do have points over here. Advantage to Nestorovic. Because does Eddie Curry have when you need to block him? He does not have reach. So that is points for Nestorovic. Contested a shot in heavy traffic and it still goes down. Are there enough cards left? Visiting player have defensive smart. No. Home team scores. And Nestorovic does not bring what he needs in terms of defense. Got a ref look. Compare him. It goes to Jose Calderon. Shot 1. That is a 6, and it's good. And 11 is good. He sinks both free throws. Chris Bosh is the guy they need to go on a run here, but Jamal Crawford and his skill set come out to the floor. Does he have, does Chris Bosh have offensive power? Yes, and it's underlined, and they move 2 spaces. Oh! Do the Toronto Raptors have enough to make a push and a comeback here? We got a push. And it's underlined to push. So great physicality on that one. And that is another point for Chris Bosh. And they are within 1 with 1 card left. Coach, and it's a timeout. Sam Mitchell calls a timeout here with just a few moments left. Jason Capono comes on the court. The roll. That is a 6. And that is an energize. And the Toronto Raptors tie the game. It is 12-12 plus... Hold the phone. So we got 12-12. It is 99-99. And we've got the visitors score plus 8. Puts them at 107-104 with free throws thrown in there. The Toronto Raptors went on a huge run here in the end of the fourth quarter to come back. And so I've not actually done, there is the rule here. I don't have a pencil. I should write that down. I'm still learning, so I'm not really tracking much of anything here at the moment. So it is 99 Toronto, 99 New York, but we got plus 8 to make it 107 to plus 5, 104. Now, this game does have like a mini game mode that if anybody wants to enjoy me figuring out how it works. I've not actually read this part of the rulebook yet because I wanted to get the base of the game down. So down here, underneath of my little chart, we've got rules here for the final minute. So this is kind of after you play all your facts, you can go down here and play out the final minute of the game in like a mini game mode. So we got this guy here. Both teams choose 5 starters for the final 5 minutes. Reserves are taken from the deck. So let's do that. So we got Bosch, Moon, Bargnani, Delfino. Nate Robinson's still out of the game. So he's still out. They're going to bring... You know what I think's going to happen? Well, they're going to have to leave Calderon in because they need the guard. So Bosch is our center. Moon and Bargnani are forwards. And in this case, we're going... No. We're going to go Delfino and Parker. So there's our 5 starters for Toronto. Or, yeah, for Toronto. Which these guys go back into the deck. And then here's New York. So our 5 starters for New York are sticking together. So it's going to go Jamal Crawford, Zach Randolph, Ronaldo Balkman. So we got a guard and a forward left. David Lee is our forward. And our other guard is going to be Quentin. Nope. Do I have 2 forwards in here already? I do. We're going to take out Balkman, put in Quentin Richardson and David Lee. And our other guard is going to be... Actually, it's Nate Jones that's the one that's... It's New York that Nate Jones is bugging. So we're going to have to leave in Fred Jones. Woo! All right, so there's our 5 each. So these guys all come back to New York. Next. The results, let's see. Both teams choose 5 starters. Set a pawn. So we got my cool little stick figure basketball man on the 1 minute space, which is here. And place a colored pawn 2 rows below on the 36 to set the 24-second clock. Okay, so there's our, going to what time? 36 seconds. So on my chart, on this lined up neoprene mat, it doesn't quite match up to the rule book. The results determines which team. The results of the highlight game's final fast action determines which team starts. If it's unclear, a fast action card results. So I'm going to say the result of the highlight game's final fast action determines which team starts the final minute in possession of the ball. If it's unclear, i.e. a fast action card result in which neither active player had a quality, no score, use a die roll. So in this case, it was Toronto that scored. So we're going to give it to Toronto. That's where we're going. Minigame rules are similar with the active players are playing in real time. Each segment of action involves roll, resolve, rotate. So we roll and then read the chart. Resolve is, I guess, tell me what to do. Yeah. And then rotate. I'm sure I'm a smart enough guy to figure this out. And then rotate. After the play is resolved, rotate the players per normal rules. They remain in the active position. Otherwise, they rotate. Rotate. Sure, let's go with it. Oh, okay. So here on floor play, it does say dice roll number equals number of seconds elapsed. So when I roll it, it's going to tell me how many seconds come off the clock. And then the card says what's going to happen. So Toronto's going to start with the ball. And it's a 4. So we got 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it says denied, roll for active defender on deny line. What's the deny line? Oh boy. So we rolled a 4. Rolls of 4 or 5 will give the active player the chance to create a turnover. Roll a die and subtract that many seconds from the clock. Then check the deny chart for the named quality. Where's the deny chart? It's this right here. If the defensive player has the quality, it's a turnover. Go to rotate and end the floor play sequence. Got it. If the defensive player has a quality underlined, it's a turnover and either an automatic 2-point basket or an open shot for a 3-pointer. I don't think I want to play the final minute game. I think I just like this final scores coming out. I think I'm good not playing the final minute stuff. I'm good with that. I think that's the way I'm going to play this game. So we now know, because of the way I've decided to play, the Toronto Raptors made a huge push, came back and took the game from the New York Knicks in the final seconds, 107 to 104. Vince Carter would have been very proud. There go our New York Knicks back in the box. And we have a second matchup for anybody interested in hanging around. That second matchup will be coming in a moment. And if you're just joining us, thank you for joining. This is the Sports Simulation Spectator. I'm your host, Michael Green, and we're learning how to play Hightlight Maker Hoops. That was my 4th game ever, so still kind of figuring out how it works. But I enjoy streaming this stuff because I just like being able to talk about it with somebody, and my wife doesn't want to hear about it. So our visiting team is whoopah, the Minnesota Timberwolves, and our home team is whoopah, the New Orleans, whoever they were in 2007, 2008. I'm not sure if they were the Hornets or if they were the Pelicans at that point. We got Chris Paul. I'm assuming they were Hornets if Chris Paul's on this squad. So we got Chris Paul, David West, Tyson Chandler, Peja Stojakovic, Morris Peterson. I guess they are starters. And here's our bench. I want Bobby Jackson coming off the bench. All right, that's what we're going with. There's our bench. Byron Scott is our coach, just to make it nice and simple. Tyson Chandler's stacked in defense, but that's pretty cool. So David, yeah, we're going to leave David West as our 1. Go Chris Paul, Tyson Chandler, Morris Peterson, and Peja Stojakovic are that starting lineup. And our starting lineup for the Minnesota Timberwolves, coached by Randy Whitman, we got Al Jefferson, Ryan Gomes, Marco Yark, Rashad McCants, Sebastian Telfair, Corey Brewer, Craig Smith. Bench is going to be Randy Foye, Antoine Walker, old man Antoine Walker. If this is 2007, 2008, I didn't know Antoine Walker was still playing basketball then. So here's our bench and our starters. Let's grab our center, which in this case is only Al Jefferson. We got 2 forwards coming to the floor. It's going to be Ryan Gomes, and it's going to be Craig Smith. Corey Brewer's going to the bench. And then our starting guards, Rashad McCants and Marco Yark. Sebastian Telfair is going to the bench. There we go. We're going to reset our guys here. Oh, we need to decide whether or not we're playing on the mid-low or the low chart. That is a 33. We're sticking on mid-low for this game. Reset our timers. Get ourselves some cards. We'll be on our way. So I know that first game took me a little bit longer than it should have, But the fact that I'm actually at the point where I've got a full game really going here I should be able to play something like 30 minutes. Sounds great to me. If anybody has played games with me or knows me well enough, I make the mistake of recording every play of every board game that I have during a calendar year. And typically, I have a hard time playing anything more than once or twice. I have to say, this year alone, I've already got like 8 games of second season football in under my belt, and it's still January. And heck, in 2 days, this is my 5th game of Hightlight Maker Hoops. So that was a terrible shuffle. It's okay though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And here we go. We got a ref look just to start. So ref look is going to the checks. They both have stars. And in that case, it goes to the home team. 2 shots, and the ref's already calling warnings here early in the game. David West is taking the shot. That is a 6. That's good for 1. That's a 9. Good for 2. And before we get far in, I'm just double checking to make sure I'm right. I'm feeling much better knowing that I feel like I know what I'm supposed to be doing. If both active players have the same symbol, the home player gets it. Woo! Look at me. And let's discard that fact. Here we go. So we are already up 2-0. And these guys shuffle away. Chris Paul. There is a free set that they gave out for this game of, I think it was last year's WNBA. And that's the kind of thing that I'm like, yeah, that'd be fun. Let's play some WNBA. And we got a timeout already. So Byron Scott calling in Bobby Jackson. And the question is does it make sense? Was it a good choice? That is a 4, and they are energized, and that is points for New Orleans with Bobby Jackson coming off the bench. Visitor player have defensive reach. No. Reach is 4. Yep, that is a no. And the home team scores. New Orleans is up 2-0. And we got another ref look, but we're checking. We got a symbol for Bobby Jackson. So Bobby Jackson ends up, this is an and 1, so that's points. And Bobby Jackson hits the free throw. And things are not looking awesome in another game here between New Orleans and Minnesota. Net. So, since that and 1, is that considered a spot for momentum? If neither team moved its pawn down the scoring track in the previous fact, but they did. So we are giving momentum here to the New Orleans squad. It's really bugging me now. I need to know whether or not New Orleans was who they were. 2007-2008 New Orleans basketball team. They were the Hornets at that point. Sounds great. The Hornets finished 56-26 that season, first place of the NBA Southwest Division. Very good. There we go. Where did Minnesota finish? Minnesota finished 22-60. So we have an idea of how this game is going to play out. So this is going, the momentum is going to Chris Paul, but he does not have net. So we're going to flip it. I'm going to give grab to Yarich, and he's got nothing. So nothing happens for either of these guys, despite having the sole possession of the trade. Home player with defensive power. Does Tyson Chandler have defensive power? Yes, and it's underlined in the home team scores. And Al Jefferson. Visitor have offensive smart. No. Thrown away. No points. Craig Smith. And Morris Peterson. No momentum, so we're looking for leap. Neither gentleman has leap. So nothing happens. It does say get that garbage out of here. I would be talking about these players' skills. If neither of them has leap, get that garbage out of here. And we've got a timeout from Minnesota. Corey Brewer's coming in off the bench. And that is a 7, which is a whole bunch of nothing. So, at the end, oh boy. At the end of the first half, we are looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're not moving anything. End of the first quarter is 4-0. It is 25-9, 28-9 if you include the pawns. Gross. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to rotate these gentlemen. The home team was winning a big game last time. And Toronto was able to come back and pull out the victory as the visiting squad. So who knows what's going to happen here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Fantabulous. Here we go. Start of the second quarter. Starting off with a referee look. We're checking them both out, and David West has the star. Who was here before? I don't know if I rotated him. It's fine. We're just going to play with it. David, he has the star, so 2 shots for David West. That is a 7 and is good. And a 9, and that is also good. And they rotate out. Bobby Jackson. Home player have defensive power. No. The visiting team scores, and finally, Minnesota gets on the board. I mean, the score track. It is a... Why did I roll the dice? I'm just so used to rolling dice. Does the home player have defensive quick? Yes, and it's underlined, and the home team puts up some points, and Chris Paul makes Marco Yark pay. Home play have defensive quick. Yes, and underlined, and the home team scores again. Chris Paul is on fire. He's on fire! Timeout. And New Orleans is bringing this guy, Jenner Pargo, in off the bench. It is a 6, and that is an energize, and it was a good call for New Orleans as they go ahead even further. Nope, I don't need the dice. Boop. Visiting team have defensive skill. No. Home team scores. Oh boy. We're looking at a ref look. Home team scored, so Craig Smith goes away. All right. There's nothing here. It's an and 1 to the trailing team, and Corey Brewer scores. And he's going to take the free throw shot. It's an 11, and he finally gets one to sink. And everyone rotates out. We got another timeout. Minnesota calls one this time. Sebastian Telfair comes in. That is a 6, and that is complacent, which means the other team scores. Chris Paul puts one up, and with that, we've got 2 cards left here at the end of the quarter since they reached their scoring cap. That means it's the first time I've reached the scoring cap. It is let's see. If more than one fact is left unused, award a space to the other team. So the other team gets a freebie. So it is 9-3 plus our points, 62-38. Woof. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if Minnesota scores all their points right now, they will score just enough to catch up to where New Orleans is right now. I'm not going to move these benches around. I think for the sake of expediting, we're going to leave them where they're at. We are headed into the second half with the New Orleans Hornets running away with this game against the Minnesota Timberwolves. That is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Here we go. Home player with defensive skill. Yes, and it's underlined. The home team scores. Woo. Woo. We got net. Who's got net? Neither gentleman has net, so nothing happens. Al Jefferson and Tyson Chandler. Ref look. We got the star for Al Jefferson. So this is 2 shots, and we're discarding a fact, so Al Jefferson can't clank on 6 or 8. He rolls a 5, and he's got 1 that's good. Second one is 11, and the second free throw shot is good. And Minnesota, who's way behind, is slowly creeping back in with some free throws, I guess. Maybe a little bit. Visitor have offensive smart. No, it is thrown away. If only that had been defensive smart, because it was underlined. But it was not. Here comes Peza Stojakovic and Craig Smith. Visitor have defensive spark. Yes, it is a forced miss. And again, nobody scores. Home player with offensive smart. Yes, and it's underlined, and that is 2 spaces. I probably should have given extra points at the end of the second quarter based on dots. I'm just realizing, but notate for next time. So that is 2 spaces thanks to David West and his underlined smart skill. We got grab. And only David West has it. That is more points for Mr. David West. Sebastian Telfair cannot believe it. Glass cleaner and scores. We got momentum over here on this side, and grab is still there. That is more. Pulled down, dished off coast to coast, and scores. And David West has taken domination of this game. Is dominating the game? I'm a terrible basketball color man. We are looking at an amazing score of 14-3. It is 93-49 plus free throws here at the moment. So we are looking at how many dots do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So no free dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in this case, Minnesota Timberwolves can absolutely not even come back from this mess because there was only 1 fact left. so they don't get a free point. Headed to the fourth quarter. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Here we go. Let's get this final quarter underway. Let's rotate. We didn't rotate. We're going to do that. Bobby Jackson. Rashad McCants. Does the visitor player have offensive spark? No. That is traveling and a turnover. And Jenner Pargo moves up the court with the ball. Visitor player have defensive spark? No. And the home team puts another one in. Home team scores in this case. And Al Jefferson rotates. Ref look. Ryan Gomes scores and 1. That's an 8, and he's good with the free throw. And everyone rotates out. Chris Paul. Craig Smith. No momentum. So we're looking at a pick. Who's got pick? Anybody? Nobody. Nothing happens. Coach, we got a timeout. New Orleans calls a timeout. Brings in Razul Butler. Discard the next fac. And the attempt is an 11 and nothing happens. So Butler shuffles out. Corey Brewer shuffles out. Visitor have defensive skill? No. Home team scores. This game's getting a little out of hand, as if it wasn't before. Ref look. We're looking to the trailing team taking 2 shots. That's a 9, and that's a clank for Rashad McCants. And a 6, which is another clank. Rashad McCants can't even sink the free throws that are given to him. And we're looking for pick. Nobody has pick. So we're rolling on to what looks to be our final card of the game. Bam. Home team have offensive reach? No, and it is blocked and no additional points are scored. And the final horn blows. The final score in this demolishing is 16-4. 107-59. 107 for New Orleans. And the Timberwolves came up with 59. And we add in our scores to 63. 112-63. The New Orleans Hornets almost doubled up on the Timberwolves. So there you have it. There is 2 more random games, this time with the 2007-2008 player sets from Play Games. At the moment, I think I'm just going to continue to play some one-offs. Maybe I'll print another set. Maybe I'll just grab some more teams from this set. I also do have the 2021 or the 2021-22 season. And that all-time great set. So for the moment, because I've got red, white, and blue racing I want to get back to, and I'm working on second season, I'm not going to go too hog wild here with Hightlight Maker Hoops, but this was what was still on the table for the night from last night, and I didn't feel like setting anything else up. So thanks for coming. Hang out with me later on. Subscribe, like, all those fun things. If this was something you enjoyed, feel free to converse with me. It's easier for me to ramble and text on the screen. So thanks. This has been Mike, Sports Simulation Spectator, all that jazz. Have a good one. See ya.